What if every thought you've ever had still exists? Not as a memory, but as an energy, vibrating quietly through time, shaping moments that have yet to come. They say every breath, every whisper, every silent intention moves like a ripple through the fabric of the universe. This is the law that ancient sages called karma. Not a law of punishment nor reward, but of balance. A law so subtle it doesn't demand belief. It simply is. Imagine standing beside a still lake at dawn. You toss a single pebble into its mirror-like surface. For a moment, it seems to vanish, but then waves appear, circles expanding endlessly outward, touching the shorelines you cannot see. Now imagine that lake is the universe and the pebble your action. Every word you speak sends energy into motion. Every decision, every emotion, joins a quiet dance of causes and effects. And like an echo returning through unseen chambers, what we give always finds its way home. But here lies the mystery. If karma is a reflection of all that we create, are we the authors of our destiny or the audience of our own vibration? Across cultures and centuries, this law has been whispered through scriptures, carved into stone, and sung in mantras that outlasted empires. It tells us, you are not separate from the web you touch. You are the web. Yet few truly see it. Most of us drift through the current, mistaking chance for chaos. But the ancients claimed nothing is random, that what appears as coincidence is merely the unfolding of hidden design, a pattern of light and shadow drawn by every intention that came before. Think of the moments that have defined your life. A stranger's kindness, a sudden loss, a dream that came true against all logic. Could these be threads of karma, weaving through the tapestry of your soul? In this story, we will walk the path of that unseen thread, from the birth of the idea in the temples of ancient India, through the echoes of Greek philosophy, to the frontiers of modern science. We'll explore how thought becomes matter, how energy becomes destiny, and how awareness can turn karma from a cycle into liberation. Because if karma is real, it means nothing we do is ever lost. Every gesture of love, every act of care, every seed of peace we plant in another's life will someday return to us, perhaps in a form we least expect. So, the question that has haunted mystics for ages remains. Is karma the hand of destiny guiding us, or the mirror in which we finally see ourselves? Next time, we journey back to the dawn of civilization, to the sages, philosophers, and mystics who first spoke of this eternal balance. Where did the law of karma begin? And how did it survive through millennia of human transformation? Long before the word karma found its way into our language, before temples rose or scriptures were carved, there were those who sat in silence and listened, not to gods above, but to the rhythm beneath all things. They observed the cycles of the stars, the turning of seasons, the ebb and flow of rivers, and they saw something profound. Everything returns. Every action, every movement has its echo. This was ancient India thousands of years ago, when the early Vedic seers gazed upon the world as an ocean of energy, a cosmic dance where nothing truly vanished. They called it Ta, the sacred order, the harmony that sustains the universe. From this idea, the word karma was born, meaning simply action. But in that single word lay the secret to existence itself. In the Rig Veda, one of humanity's oldest known texts, the poets spoke of this balance as the invisible hand of truth. As one acts, so one becomes. They saw that the universe mirrored every deed, not to punish or to reward, but to restore equilibrium. A leaf falls, another grows. A sound fades, another rises. To them, life was a conversation between cause and effect, a song of perfect return. As centuries passed, this wisdom deepened. The Upanishads, the crown of Indian philosophy, took the idea inward. They asked, if every action shapes the outer world, could thought itself be an action? Could intention, unseen and silent, mold the destiny of the soul? Their answer was yes. Karma was not only what we do, but what we think and feel. It was not law from above, it was law within. Then came the Buddha, the awakened one, who refined the ancient truth into clarity. He taught that karma is not fate, it is movement. It is the seed, the soil, and the fruit of consciousness. Every thought we nurture becomes the next moment's reality. He said, "With our thoughts we make the world." In his view, karma was not divine judgment. It was the continuity of mind, the unfolding of choices across lifetimes. While the East embraced karma as the pulse of spiritual evolution, the West was also listening in its own way. In the philosophy of ancient Greece, we find a mirror reflection of the same truth. Heraclitus spoke of the logos, the divine reason that flows through all things, holding chaos and order in balance. Pythagoras taught that the soul moves in cycles, returning again and again, bound by the harmony it creates or disturbs. Even Plato, in his Myth of Air, described souls choosing new lives based on the actions of their past ones. Though they never used the word karma, their vision was unmistakably kindred. Life is a continuum of consequence and renewal. Across these distant lands, separated by deserts and oceans, humanity reached the same understanding, that existence is not random. Every choice ripples outward through the fabric of being, bending reality around the vibration of our intention. And yet, somewhere in this universal revelation lay a quiet paradox. If all that happens is the reflection of our own energy, who is the observer? If karma moves through us and beyond us, are we the source or simply the channel? The ancient teachers left no final answer, only the wisdom of cycles, that what we send returns, and what returns teaches. Every sunrise echoes a dawn before it, and every soul, perhaps, is a memory still learning to remember. In the next chapter, we will explore the mechanics of this invisible law, the cycle of cause and effect itself. How do thoughts become experiences? How do the smallest intentions shape the patterns of our days? And if every ripple returns, can one ever step outside the circle? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a single drop of rain falling into a still pond. The surface shivers, expands, and soon the ripples touch every edge, every reflection, until even the stars mirrored in the water begin to tremble. This, the ancients said, is how karma moves, silently, naturally, inevitably. Every action, thought, or word creates a vibration that travels through the fabric of reality, returning in forms that reflect its source. The universe doesn't forget. It remembers through rhythm. From the breath we take to the kindness we offer, every movement of energy begins a cycle. Creation, expansion, return. The sages called it samsara, the wheel of becoming. Spins not to trap us, but to teach us. Consider this: you speak a word in haste. That word becomes a sound wave, carried into another's mind, shaping thought, stirring emotion, inspiring yet another action. Somewhere, days or years later, that ripple touches you again, perhaps through a stranger's tone, perhaps through a moment that feels oddly familiar. What we release returns to us because it never truly leaves us. Modern thinkers might call it resonance. Ancient mystics called it harmony. They believed that the universe itself is an instrument of perfect tuning. When our actions align with compassion, patience, or truth, we vibrate in harmony with the greater song of existence. But when our intentions are born of imbalance, selfishness, ignorance, or disregard, the music becomes discordant, and life gently returns those notes to us, inviting us to retune. In this way, karma is not about consequence, it is about correction. It is the cosmos teaching itself balance through experience. And we are both the student and the teacher. Every cycle of cause and effect, no matter how small, contributes to the great unfolding of consciousness. When you help another being, you strengthen the frequency of unity. When you act from love, you expand it in the collective field. Karma does not judge. It simply amplifies. Even thoughts, the quietest of all actions, have weight in this tapestry. Thoughts are subtle energies, electrical currents that ripple through the invisible web connecting all living things. A single moment of genuine gratitude can shift an unseen pattern. A moment of resentment can cloud the air between souls. To think is to move energy, and energy, by its nature, always finds equilibrium. Ancient texts like the Bhagavad Gita reminded seekers that the way to peace lies not in avoiding karma, but in acting without attachment. Do your duty, It says, without desire for the fruits of your actions. When the motive is pure, the cycle becomes transparent. The wheel still turns, but we no longer feel trapped within it. The act itself becomes an offering, not a transaction. This is the quiet power of awareness. When we observe our own thoughts and intentions before they unfold into words or deeds, we begin to see the invisible architecture of cause and effect. We see that karma is not somewhere in the future. It is happening now, in every choice, in every heartbeat. Imagine, then, what harmony could arise if each of us tended to our own vibration as carefully as we tend to our gardens. Every smile, every act of patience, would be like light returned to the stars. And yet, another question lingers in the stillness. If karma is energy in motion, returning endlessly to its source, what, then, is the force that guides it? Is it a cosmic mind? A divine consciousness? Or is the universe itself simply the mirror of our own awareness? In the next part, we step from mysticism into the language of science. Can modern physics, vibration, and the law of resonance explain this ancient truth? Could karma, after all, be the hidden equation connecting matter, energy, and consciousness itself? What if karma were not just a spiritual principle, but a scientific one? What if every intention, every emotion, and every thought carried an energetic signature? Ripples not only in the soul, but in the very field that holds the stars together. To the mystics of old, this was not metaphor. It was reality. They believed the universe was woven of life force, the breath of existence itself. Today, science calls it energy. Cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. And in that single truth lies the secret heart of karma. Every cause transforms energy. Every effect is its reflection. Modern physics tells us that matter is energy condensed, vibration slowed into form. Einstein himself revealed that energy and matter are interchangeable, bound by the same equation. Quantum theory takes it further, that even at the smallest level, particles do not exist in isolation. They are waves of probability, entangled across space and time. Change one and the other feels it instantly, no matter the distance. Is this not the essence of karma? The idea that what we do in one place echoes elsewhere, that our consciousness interacts with the universe in ways we cannot yet measure. When we think, the brain releases measurable waves, alpha, beta, theta, each vibrating at specific frequencies. Emotions alter our electromagnetic field. Heart-centered gratitude creates coherence. Anger and resentment create dissonance. These vibrations extend beyond the body, influencing the subtle environment around us. Every living being, every thought, contributes to the universal field of energy. It is not superstition, it is resonance. Resonance explains why a single tuning fork can cause another to hum across the room, or why certain melodies bring tears while others uplift. Everything vibrates and attracts like. This is not the moral karma of reward and punishment, but the physics of harmony. What we emit, we attract. What we focus upon expands. If our thoughts are frequencies, then intention is the wavelength that carries them. The universe responds not to words, but to vibration, to the emotional charge beneath them. Love, compassion, and joy vibrate higher than fear, envy, or pride. And just as colors merge into light, these frequencies weave our lived experience. Some scientists now speak of a quantum consciousness, suggesting that awareness itself may not arise from the brain, but from the fundamental field that permeates the cosmos. We are not observers within the universe. We are the universe observing itself. Every shift in perception sends new patterns rippling across that infinite field. Perhaps this is why ancient masters meditated, to still their inner waves, to align with the subtle order behind all movement. When the mind becomes quiet, it resonates with the frequency of the universe, and in that harmony, the cycle of karma reveals itself not as burden, but as melody. Energy flows where attention goes. What we give focus becomes form. So, to transform our karma, we must first transform our vibration, not by effort but by awareness. When we replace judgment with understanding, resistance with gratitude, the wave collapses into coherence. The outer world reflects this inner balance like a mirror touched by light. And yet, a profound question remains: if every particle, thought, and action vibrates within one interconnected field, could it be that our individual karma is part of something larger, something collective? Could the choices of humanity itself echo through the cosmos as one shared frequency of cause and effect? In the next part, we will explore this very mystery, the realm of collective karma. How entire civilizations, societies, and generations carry the weight of their shared actions. Does the earth itself remember what we do? And can consciousness as a whole find harmony once again? When a single drop falls into still water, its ripples are delicate. But when thousands fall together, the pond becomes a living storm of motion, patterns overlapping, merging, creating something vast and unpredictable. This is collective karma, the shared field of cause and effect that binds not only individuals, but civilizations, planets, and epochs. It is the unseen rhythm that hums beneath the rise and fall of empires, the bloom and wither of eras, the cycles of humanity's awakening and forgetfulness. Ancient sages understood this deeply. They spoke not only of personal karma, the energy born of one's own actions, but also of the collective stream that arises when many minds move as one. When an entire culture lives in harmony with the natural order, the earth itself responds in balance. Harvests flourish, rivers sing, and peace settles like morning mist. But when humanity drifts from that inner rhythm, when greed replaces gratitude, when division outshouts unity, the imbalance echoes outward into storms, droughts, and silence. In this way, the earth does not punish. It reflects. The collective field mirrors the vibration we send into it. Our society's choices, how we treat each other, how we honor or neglect the living world, shape the energetic climate just as surely as we shape the physical one. In the Vedic tradition, this is called Sankhita karma, the stored karma of all beings. It is said to be a vast reservoir of potential, carrying the momentum of humanity's thoughts and actions across generations. Each soul adds a current to this ocean, some luminous, some heavy, and together they form the tide that guides history. Look back through time, and the evidence whispers everywhere. The flourishing of art, philosophy, and discovery in one age, the collective expansion of spirit. The long winters of ignorance and separation in another, the collective forgetting. Both are the results of shared intention, the energy of many souls converging at once, calling forth new patterns from the void. Even science, though speaking in different symbols, hints at this unity. Systems theory, ecology, and quantum coherence all suggest that no element of a system exists in isolation. The whole moves as one organism, each part influencing the health of the entire body. Humanity, too, is one organism, breathing through billions of hearts, thinking through countless minds, but bound by the same invisible pulse. Every movement of compassion strengthens the web. Every act of understanding lifts the frequency of the whole. Every thought of peace contributes to what the ancients called dharma, the cosmic order that sustains life. The world we see outside is the echo of the consciousness within. Consider this. When an individual awakens, their vibration radiates outward like fragrance in the wind, touches others, often silently, awakening recognition. In time, one spark lights another, and soon the darkness begins to thin. This is how collective karma transforms, not through revolution, but through resonance. Not by changing others, but by shifting the energy we bring into the field. The earth listens. The trees, the oceans, the air, they record the memory of our behavior. Every breath we take participates in this grand dialogue. And when harmony is restored, the entire world seems to breathe easier. Perhaps this is why some traditions speak of a coming golden age, not as prophecy, but as possibility. When enough of us remember that we are one pulse in a single living being, the old vibrations of division dissolve. Humanity's karma realigns with the rhythm of creation itself. But here lies the quiet question. If the collective karma of the world is shaped by us all, what responsibility do we carry for the energy we bring each day? Can one life truly alter the vibration of the many? Have you ever met someone by chance, only to realize later that their presence shifted the course of your life? or stumbled upon a place, a book, a word, at the exact moment you needed it most? We call these moments coincidences, but the ancients called them synchronicities, signs that the invisible law of cause and effect is at play, weaving its quiet geometry through every instant of existence. Nothing is random. Everything is response. Karma moves not in straight lines, but in spirals. What seems accidental is often the elegant intersection of countless ripples. Energies set in motion long ago, returning in perfect time. A word spoken decades earlier may echo as a new friendship. A forgotten kindness may bloom as unexpected opportunity. The pattern unfolds with such grace that only silence can perceive it. In Buddhist philosophy, this is called dependent origination, the idea that nothing arises independently. Every event is born from countless conditions, each connected to the next in an infinite web of relationships. When you look deeply enough, the smallest coincidence becomes a doorway into vast interconnection. Imagine life as a vast cosmic tapestry. Each thread represents a choice, an intention, a moment of awareness. As these threads cross and merge, they form the patterns of experience we call our story. But behind the visible design is an intelligence, not an external God, but the organizing consciousness of existence itself, reflecting every vibration back to its source. When something unexpected happens, our minds rush to label it as luck or fate. But the mystic smiles and listens. For them, coincidence is the universe speaking in symbols. The right people appear when the heart is ready. The lesson returns when it has not yet been learned. Even delays, even detours, are the choreography of equilibrium. Carl Jung once described synchronicity as meaningful coincidence. Events connected not by cause, but by meaning. He believed that when inner and outer worlds align, the universe mirrors our state of consciousness through experience. In this way, karma doesn't only return as consequence, it returns as guidance. When your thoughts and emotions harmonize with truth, life seems to flow effortlessly. Doors open, help arrives unbidden. But when your vibration drifts out of tune, when resistance grows, life gently reflects that disharmony, offering chances to adjust. Every apparent obstacle is a mirror. Every surprise, a message. The universe, it seems, is always listening. You think of someone and they call. You dream of a place, and days later you find yourself there. These are not accidents, they are resonances, frequencies responding to your own. The more aware you become, the more the pattern reveals itself. It is not magic. It is awareness deep enough to see cause hidden within effect. When we stop dividing life into good or bad events, we begin to see the hidden choreography. Each encounter is both consequence and opportunity, a return and a rebirth. The greater intelligence behind it does not judge, it balances. Karma's precision is infinite, yet compassionate. It is the art of the cosmos teaching the soul to remember its own design. So next time something unexpected happens, pause, listen, ask not why me, but what is this showing me? The answer will come, not in thunder, but in quiet knowing. And yet, a question lingers softly in the mind. If every event is connected, if every encounter carries purpose, then who or what arranges these meetings? Is it karma itself that weaves them? Or are we the weavers, remembering our own design as we go? The ancients believed that nothing in the universe is ever truly lost, only transformed. A flame extinguished in one lamp is kindled in another. A melody pauses, only to begin again in a new key. Life, too, they said, moves in cycles, birth, growth, rest, and return. And within that rhythm flows the great current of karma, never ending, ever teaching. Reincarnation is not the promise of repetition. It is the continuity of consciousness. Like a river changing its form with every bend, the soul carries its essence forward, gathering wisdom from each passage. The physical body may dissolve, but the vibration it carried, the sum of its intentions, joys, and lessons, does not vanish. It becomes the seed of the next beginning. In Hindu and Buddhist philosophy, this is called samsara, the wheel of birth and death, spinning through the corridors of time. Karma is the force that turns it. Every action, thought, and desire plants a subtle imprint in the soul's field, and those imprints shape the path of its return. The soul is not rewarded or punished. It simply resonates toward the conditions that match its frequency. A being of compassion is drawn toward compassion. A being of fear finds itself learning courage. In this way, reincarnation is not destiny, it is education. The universe, through endless lives, teaches itself balance. Every lifetime is a classroom, every relationship a mirror, every joy a reflection of past generosity, every sorrow an invitation to awaken deeper wisdom. The Tibetans call these imprints karma seeds. They rest in the subtle mind until the right moment arises for them to bloom. Some sprout within a single lifetime. Others sleep across centuries, awaiting the perfect constellation of events. This is why we sometimes feel an instant connection with a stranger, or a place that feels like home though we've never been there before. Memory is not only of the mind, it is of the soul. Even in the West, echoes of this truth have lingered. Pythagoras spoke of the soul's return as part of cosmic harmony. Plato's myth of air describes spirits choosing new lives to balance what was left incomplete. The early Gnostics believed the soul wandered through many worlds, gathering fragments of light it had scattered across existence. Different languages, same truth. The dance of karma is infinite. But modern physics, too, hums with a similar rhythm. The law of conservation says energy cannot die, it only changes form. Could consciousness, the subtlest energy of all, follow the same principle? If energy is eternal, perhaps awareness itself flows from one vessel to another, learning, evolving, remembering. When we understand this, fear of death begins to soften. The ending becomes another breath in the greater life of the soul. And the idea of karma transforms, from an external law into an inner compass guiding our evolution through time. Every act of kindness today may not only brighten this life, but the next. Every lesson embraced now may spare us from the same cycle tomorrow. Reincarnation, then, is not a sentence, it is grace. It gives the soul infinite chances to harmonize with the greater whole. We are not trapped within the wheel. We are learning to ride its motion until we can step beyond it. And perhaps that is the hidden purpose of karma. Not to bind us to endless cycles, but to help us understand that we were never separate from the eternal current. Once we know that deeply, once love and awareness replace resistance, the wheel itself dissolves into stillness. Yet one question shimmers like dawn over the horizon. If the soul carries its energy forward through lifetimes, can awareness itself become free from karma? Can one truly step beyond cause and effect, and awaken to the pure state of being? Imagine the wheel of karma turning, not as punishment, but as rhythm. A song repeating, each verse carrying the same melody until the singer learns the harmony hidden within the notes. That is when the song changes, not because the universe forgives, but because the soul awakens. The sages called this moksha, nirvana, liberation, not an escape from life, but an alignment so profound that the cycle of cause and effect no longer binds. It is not about denying karma, but understanding it so completely that it transforms into compassion. At the heart of every karmic pattern lies energy seeking recognition. What returns to us, the challenges, the echoes, the repetitions, are not punishments. They are invitations to become conscious. Awareness is the key that unlocks the pattern. When you meet an old hurt with understanding, its frequency dissolves. When you forgive, the energy once frozen in pain begins to flow again. Karma ends not by erasure, but by integration. Forgiveness, then, is not for others, it is a way of releasing the self from the echo of old vibrations. It is the moment the heart says, I no longer resist what was, I choose peace. And in that instant, the cycle loses momentum. Compassion works in the same way. It shifts our energy from separation to unity, from I to we. When we act through empathy, the ripple we send into the world harmonizes with life's deeper current. The energy returns not as reaction, but as expansion. Compassion bends the trajectory of karma into a spiral that leads upward, toward awakening. In Buddhist teaching, this transformation is likened to lighting a lamp in a dark room. One flame does not fight the darkness. It simply reveals what was always there. The act of awareness illuminates the karmic shadow until it becomes light itself. The once painful experiences become wisdom. The once repetitive lessons become strength. Science, too, whispers of this transformation. Neural pathways that repeat old patterns can be rewired by mindfulness. Emotional resonance shifts when love replaces fear. In every cell of the body, energy seeks coherence. What the mystics knew through meditation, neuroscience now glimpses through observation. Awareness changes form. To break the cycle of karma, one must become the still point within it, the observer rather than the reaction, the witness rather than the wave. This doesn't mean withdrawing from life. It means moving through it consciously. Every moment offers a choice. To repeat or to evolve, to echo or to create. Imagine standing before the mirror of your own past, and instead of turning away, you bow. You honor the journey that brought you here, the joy, the sorrow, the countless causes and effects that carved wisdom into your soul. That bow is surrender, and surrender is freedom. When the mind ceases to grasp for control, life flows in its natural balance. Action arises from stillness, words from clarity, and relationships from understanding. This is not the end of karma, but the beginning of conscious creation. From this place, every act becomes sacred. Drinking water, breathing air, speaking truth, each becomes a gesture of harmony. Karma no longer pulls from the past. It unfolds from awareness itself. The wheel keeps turning, but the center is still. And yet, a gentle mystery remains. If awareness dissolves karma, what becomes of the self that once carried it? Does the wave return to the ocean, or does it remember its rhythm and continue to sing? Stand before a still lake at sunrise. The air is silent, the water unmoving. Then, as the first ray of light touches the surface, your reflection appears. Not fixed, but shimmering, alive. The image is you, yet not you. It bends with the ripples, changes with the breeze, yet its essence remains the same. This is the mirror of karma, and you are both the reflection and the light that reveals it. For lifetimes, we have searched for the source of our experiences, blaming circumstance, destiny, even the stars. But when the veil of separation lifts, we see that every event, every encounter, every challenge has been a reflection of our own vibration, patiently showing us what still lives unseen within. The outer world is the inner self expressed in form. The law of karma, then, is not outside of us. It is us. The universe is not keeping score, it is keeping harmony. Every effect mirrors the energy that created it, offering us endless opportunities to see ourselves more clearly. When we finally look without judgment, the reflection becomes revelation. We begin to understand that the anger we meet is our unhealed wound seeking closure. The love we receive is the love we once gave. The opportunities we face are answers to the intentions we once set. The entire cosmos becomes a dialogue of consciousness speaking to itself through the language of experience. In ancient texts, the sages wrote, "As is the microcosm, so is the macrocosm. As is the inner, so is the outer." They meant that there is no boundary between the self and the universe. What we call me and world are two sides of the same vibration. To know one is to know the other. This realization transforms how we live. We no longer act merely to control outcomes, but to cultivate resonance. We no longer seek to fix the world, but to bring harmony within ourselves, knowing that the reflection must follow. Inner peace becomes not an escape, but an act of service. For each balanced heart adds clarity to the collective mirror of humanity. When consciousness reaches this depth of understanding, karma softens. Its lessons shift from necessity to creativity. Life ceases to be a chain of causes and becomes a canvas of expression. The soul no longer reacts, it paints. Every gesture becomes art. Every breath becomes prayer. And through this art, we begin to glimpse the great paradox. The mirror we gaze into is not showing us the past. It is showing us the present moment, alive and infinite. The more we see ourselves in all things, the less we need the reflection. The separation dissolves. The ocean recognizes itself in every wave. Perhaps this is what enlightenment truly is, not rising above the world, but seeing through it, realizing that the universe was never testing us, only reflecting us. The law of karma, then, is the law of self-discovery, guiding every soul toward remembrance of its own divinity. You are not the echo. You are the sound that created it. You are not the reflection. You are the light that makes it visible. And yet, as the mirror clears, a quiet wonder remains. If all that we experience is a reflection of self, then who is the one gazing? Who stands behind the mirror, beyond the cycles, beyond even the light? There comes a moment, after the cycles have spun, the lessons have returned, and the echoes have faded, when silence begins to sing. It is a soundless song, a pulse that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. In that silence, karma dissolves into what it always was, movement within stillness, balance within being. The ancients said the universe breathes, inhaling creation, exhaling dissolution. Between those breaths lies eternity, unmoving, untouched. That is where the law of cause and effect finds its rest. Karma is not separate from that stillness. It is its expression. It is how the infinite plays with itself through motion, the way the ocean creates waves so it might feel its own rhythm. In this understanding, nothing is owed, and nothing is lost. Every cause, every effect, every lifetime of experience is part of the universe learning its own reflection. The dance of karma is the cosmos painting itself in infinite colors, only to realize, in the end, that all hues belong to the same light. You and the universe are not two. The balance you seek is not something to be found. It is something to be remembered. When you move in harmony with your own awareness, the wheel stops turning because it no longer needs to. The lesson has become the learner. The reflection has recognized the light. In this space, action still happens, but it is free of resistance. Words are spoken, yet they carry no weight of intention. Everything flows as it should, without effort, without attachment. Life becomes a quiet harmony between doing and being, between the finite and the infinite. Mystics across ages describe this as awakening. The moment when the ripple realizes it was never apart from the pond. When consciousness ceases to chase outcomes, every step becomes sacred, every breath a prayer of balance. What once felt like destiny now feels like design, gentle, intricate, perfect. Perhaps this is what karma was teaching all along. Not obedience, but awareness. Not reaction, but participation. The universe was never a judge. It was a mirror, endlessly reflecting our own vibration until we remembered the stillness from which all motion begins. So here we stand on the threshold between the visible and the unseen. The question that began this journey returns, but it no longer demands an answer. It simply invites reflection. Is karma truly a cosmic law that governs the universe? Or is it the quiet heartbeat of consciousness itself, reminding us that every action, every thought, every moment of love is part of the same eternal balance? And if the entire cosmos is one great reflection, then who, truly, is gazing into the mirror? The circle closes not in ending, but in return, to stillness, to awareness, to the silent harmony that has always been.